NOFIRNO pipe penetrations are assembled with just two components: NOFIRNO filler sleeves and NOFIRNO sealant. After all pipes have been ducted, the remaining free space in the conduit is filled with NOFIRNO filler sleeves. This can be done with sleeves type 2719 and 1812 in a maximum ratio of 2:1. However, for better mechanical stability and especially for watertight penetrations, it is advisable to lower this ratio to 1:1. NOFIRNO filler sleeves are available as single sleeves, but the installation is easier and quicker with multi-bundles of 10 sleeves. To prevent any mistakes with the filling ratio, NOFIRNO multi-filler sleeves type 2215 can also be used as shown. For filling the smaller gaps in the transit, the smaller size single sleeves 1812 can be used. Finally, each penetration is sealed with a 20 mm layer of NOFIRNO sealant on both ends of the collar. For assembling a NOFIRNO penetration, no special equipment is necessary. A steel brush is needed to clean the inside of a rusted transit frame. Flat nose pliers and an adjuster with a notch of 20 mm are used to adjust the set of filler sleeves. A tube cutter to cut the injection nozzles of the sealant cartridges. To press down the sealant in between the pipes, a special tool has been developed. The head is made out of PTFE, which won't stick to the sealant. NOFIRNO sealant can be applied with a manual sealant gun, but when several penetrations are being assembled, a professional cordless system is advisable. A cloth with cleaner to remove dirt, grease, oil, or other residues from the inside of the transit frame and from the pipes. For finishing the layer of sealant, only a cloth with water is used, and only in the final stages, perhaps a little soap and water. The ideal transit frame for a NOFIRNO penetration is clean and coated on the inside. However, transit frames that have been in place for a while might look like this. In that case, the inside of the frame has to be cleaned thoroughly. With a steel brush or by blasting, the inner surface of the transit should be cleaned to remove all corrosion. The excellent adhesive properties of the sealing system will be diminished by corroded surfaces. In addition, any dirt, oil, grease, or other residues should be removed from the inside of the transit frame. Remember that a space of 20 mm at both ends of the collar must remain for applying the NOFIRNO sealant. Therefore, the sleeves are 40 mm shorter than the depth of the transit. The pipes can be ducted through the transit frame in random order. It is most important that they are ducted with no less than the minimum allowable distance to the wall of the conduit frame, and that they are ducted with the required interspacing. An overfill of pipes should be avoided. Please refer to the approval drawings for details. The interspacing between the ducted pipes and the minimum distance to the wall of the conduit frame are also of utmost importance for enabling adequate cleaning, which is an important step in the installation. Final sealing of the pipe penetration may take place quite some time after ducting the pipes. In those cases, the status of the inside of the transit frames has to be checked again before starting the installation of the sealing system. Clean the inside of the transit frame thoroughly and remove any dirt, oil, grease, and other residues or corrosion from the inside. Clean and dry the pipes in a similar way. Any moisture, dirt, or oil residues will have a negative impact on the adhesive properties of the NOFIRNO sealant to be applied after filling the transit frame. The pipes have to be cleaned at the spot where the sealant is applied at a later stage. This means 20 mm at both sides of the transit. If feasible, it is of course easier to clean the pipes more than the full length inside the transit. The remaining free space in the conduit is filled with NOFIRNO filler sleeves. When extensions are to be expected in a later stage, the use of single sleeve is advisable, since they are easier to remove when a new pipe has to be ducted. Due to the flexibility of the set of multi-filler sleeves, the set can easily be rolled up and then pushed into the opening. The smaller openings are now filled with single sleeves or parts of the sets of multi-filler sleeves. To tear off sleeves of the set of multi-filler sleeves, the procedure is to do this backwards, forwards, and not sideways. This is due to the strength of the intermediate rubber parts. Positioning the insert sleeves in the middle of the frame leaves a free space of 20 millimeters at both sides where the sealant will be applied. Use flat nose pliers to insert NOFIRNO single filler sleeves in the remaining smaller open spaces in the set of fillers. A very tight fit of the filler sleeves is vital to the performance of the sealing system. After the whole transit is filled with NOFIRNO sleeves, individual sleeves can be pushed or pulled in place with flat nose pliers and with the Bailey Engineering aluminum adjuster. If more force is needed, use a plastic hammer in combination with the aluminum adjuster. Before applying the sealant, verify that the free space at the front and the back of the transit collar is about 20 millimeters. Cut the injection nozzles of the cartridges in an angled way to create a medium-sized dispensing opening. This will improve the flow of the sealant in between the set of pipes. A 20 millimeter layer of NOFIRNO sealant is applied at each side of the NOFIRNO multi-pipe transit. Skin formation of the sealant takes place after 10 to 15 minutes. In case of larger transits with a low filling rate, do not apply more sealant than can be finished within this time frame. The transit should be overfilled with NOFIRNO sealant because some sealant will be pushed into the empty spaces inside and in between the NOFIRNO sleeves during further finishing. This will contribute to obtaining higher tightness ratings. To smooth the surface of the NOFIRNO sealant, a cloth is sprayed with water. This prevents the sealant from sticking to the cloth. Do not use soap water. Soap water will have a negative impact on the adhesive properties of the sealant. The cloth is then used to press down the sealant layer flush with the end of the transit frame. It is of utmost importance to press the sealant very tightly so that it's compressed into all empty spaces in the set of NOFIRNO sleeves. The larger the adhesive surfaces of the sealant, the better the performance of the system. Due to the rapid skin formation of the sealant, smoothing should take place directly after compression of the sealant layer. As soon as skin formation takes place, a very neat smoothing of the sealant layer is not possible anymore. The NOFIRNO sealant between the pipes is pressed down firmly. A special tool developed by Bailey Engineering with a PTFE compression smoothing part is available. The sealant will not stick to the PTFE. Compression and smoothing, especially in between the pipes, is essential to obtain an effective gas and watertight seal. A last check should be made to ensure that the sealant layer is pressed down tightly and that no larger open holes are visible. Air enclosure in the sealant layer should be avoided during finishing because this would have a negative impact on the performance of the sealant layer under fire exposure. The final surface can be smoothed by hand. Just wet the hands thoroughly with soap and water. No dirty hands when working with NOFIRNO, and a very neat surface is the result. Soap should only be used in this final stage and only for smoothing the surface. In all earlier stages of the installation, the use of soap must be avoided. Adding an extra pipe through a finished NOFIRNO multi-pipe transit is an easy job. Cut away the sealant layer at both sides of the penetration with a plastic knife or a hollow punch in a tapering shape at a spot where there is sufficient free space. Remove some of the filler sleeves to create an opening that is large enough for the new pipe to be ducted. The pipe is pulled through the new opening in the NOFIRNO multi-pipe transit. Add extra single sleeves to fill any open spaces. Clean and dry the newly ducted pipe thoroughly and refill the opening in the sealant layer at both sides of the transit with NOFIRNO sealant. Finish the new sealant layer in the same way as done for the initial sealant layer. For Class A penetrations, which are insulated, the NOFIRNO multi-pipe transit frame needs to be insulated only at the insulated side of the bulkhead. No insulation is required on the pipes or the face of the transit.